Just a couple weeks ago, I started a brand new AI agency completely from scratch, and I made $4,500 in total cash collected within my first 7 days of running this business, with I think just around $11,000 in total revenue. Okay, and when I say completely from scratch, I mean completely from scratch. I didn't have a business name, I didn't have a niche to go after, an industry to work with, I didn't have a service. I had literally zero before these 7 days, and I did it all, of course, in this time frame. And the point of this video is going to be showing you how you can do the same thing, even if you have your own agency, your own AI agency, or you are completely starting from scratch like I was. Okay, you can essentially copy what I've been able to do, and I'm going to kind of break down what I was thinking throughout this process so you can understand further. So the first thing we want to understand is what type of businesses actually want this AI service, this AI agency service. Okay, I listed a bunch of good examples right now of different industries that are looking for a service like this that you can choose based off your own personal experience. But I want to quickly just clarify what is the actual AI agency offer in the first place and why are we valuable to businesses, okay? So in very short, very simply, number one, every business needs potential customers. They need new leads or else they're not going to make more money, okay? So what is a better way to do this than using AI with digital marketing? Okay, there's no better, billboards, they're old. Like a lot of forms of advertising is super old today. And generally, the best ways to get leads today is through digital marketing because you can hit so many people through literally just setting up a quick ad campaign that takes no more than 20-30 minutes. Okay. Number two, these businesses need sales appointments. So let's take real estate agents, for example. They need leads. They need potential home buyers or home sellers, and we get them those leads. Cool. We got their name, email, phone number. Great. What happens after that? Not much happens after that unless we have some sort of conversion between them opting in and them actually booking a call and an appointment with the actual agent themselves or the realtor. So that's where we're going to implement our own AI system or AI caller to jump in and call these leads that opt in and book them into the realtor's calendar. Okay, I'm going to break down in this video actually what I'm talking about more in depth there. I'm going to show you softwares, platforms I'm using today that are working well for that. But third is really just paying customers. So of course, that is where you can kind of jump in. You can rewrite sales scripts or whatever needed for these business owners like realtors using AI. But this part is very, very optional. Whoops. And you don't necessarily have to do that once they jump on the call, the appointment. Your client should really just take it from there. And of course, that is what leads to more money. Okay. So now we understand our actual service. We're going to run ads. Then we're going to have an AI caller call the leads from these ads we set up. And then they're going to take the appointment. The client's just going to take it from there. And then they close the deal. Simple enough, right? So that's that. So once we understand that, we need to understand then, okay, what industry should we go after? Now, you can go after, I would just go after one niche specifically. Okay, this is what I did. So for me, I went after real estate agents. Okay, in my challenge of this. For the week, I of course started this business model. And for me, real estate agents, I didn't go to anyone else. I didn't go to roofers. I didn't go to HVAC, pool builders. No, I kept it straight to one industry because when you split yourself kind of like just two, I guess, when you're just too broad, too wide, you're not really good at anything. You're just master of none and average it all. That's really what it is. And you want to be a master of one, especially since this business model, you need to have a long-term time horizon for most of you that start it. So you can choose from these kind of industries here. I have home service, professional service, and high ticket online kind of businesses here. I recommend home service and professional services. I just think they're the best at the moment. High ticket online businesses are really, really good if you've ran a high ticket online business before. That's the catch. If you never have ran one, I really just recommend staying away from it as there's a lot of complexity. They're very complex buyers. And it's just, you kind of have to speak their language to an extent, right? So that's that. So for me, throughout this list, I was like, okay, I'm going to go after realtors. Okay, this is the industry I'm going to go after, specifically real estate agents in the US. So real quick, I'm going to just kind of break down what I did when it comes to my actual offer to be able to do this. So I'm going to kind of just break this down. So offer, let me expand this like so. Cool. So my offer was pretty simple. Like I said, is I need to get them leads, and these leads need to turn into appointments. Okay. And then these appointments are going to turn into deals. Okay. Of course, your client does that. Okay. So our job as the AI agency is going to be handling these two things. That's it. Okay. We're not going to be building their website or doing their SEO, nothing else. Okay. We're just a very, very straight, simple service that we're going to be offering them Facebook ads and Instagram ads that gets them leads, and then having an AI caller that calls them, okay? And I'll go into the platform, like I said, here in a minute. Okay, and then when it comes to your pricing, here's the way I priced my service. Okay, so if I go to pricing, like so. So I would have two main options that people could choose from on these sales calls that I'd have with them. Okay, so these realtors could either choose from $5,000 upfront, or they could choose from $2,000, okay, which is upfront, but they're going to pay for 3 months. Okay, so what that means is, of course, they're going to end up paying $6,000. So say they have to pay $1,000 more. If they pay all up front, they'll save $1,000, and you can, of course, change this and incentivize this however you want. But the whole goal of this service here, and the reason this service is so much more valuable, like I'm showing here, than the regular, let's say, advertising agency model, is we're not solving one problem. We're not giving them one brick. And that's the thing I see most of these marketing agencies still out there doing today. And trust me, I ran a marketing agency for like a year and a half at least. I know what it's like to work with these businesses and only give them leads and only give them advertising on Facebook and Instagram. It doesn't solve the whole puzzle. You're a commodity because there's a million other people doing it. And truthfully, you're not actually giving them that much value, because what are these realtors or these roofers doing with just a name, email, phone number? We understand how local businesses are today. They're super busy with other stuff. They're probably not the best at follow-up, sales, etc. Okay, so you're really doing them a disservice. So when you solve both of these problems for them, their job is to just jump on appointments you've set for them, and they can just close. Okay, now, of course, that's making their life super, super easy, right? And they can make a lot of money doing it and working with us. That's why we're valuable. But we're going to command a pretty high amount upfront for this. I started with this challenge with just these price points here because I was going with 0 case studies, okay? Again, I started this completely from 0. And I didn't use any past, videos, testimonials, anything like that. I literally went at this straight of essentially a new business, okay? And I still was able to pull it off. Once you build case studies and everything like that, just to help your kind of sales process more nurtured for these potential leads, then you can be charging more amounts, like $10,000 up front. And just within my own business today, that's more of the stage I'm at today. But specifically for this challenge, and for most of you probably out there, you need to start with a pricing model similar to this, okay? So that's our pricing. And I would also throw in some sort of kind of like special offer. So what this would be is I would always usually give a guarantee. So if you guys know what I mean by a guarantee, is I'll usually say something like, we will get you X within X days, or you don't pay. So what this means right here is we want to relieve some of the stress that these, potential local businesses most likely will have when wanting to go with us. There's going to be a lot of tension. There's going to be a lot of stress of like, do I give this guy $10,000? Do I give him $5,000? Do I give him $2,000? Like, it's a big decision for these business owners. A lot of them. It's like, shoot, I got to, really make sure this is crystal clear and I'm 100% confident in it. So what we can do to relieve that and have them buy on call is add in guarantees. So what this could be is we will get you 10 listing appointments, okay? So that's what I did with realtors. For you, for roofers, it could be 10 jobs. For med spas, it could be just clinics. It could be like 10 literal like appointments or sessions, whatever it is. You can do that. And then you want to give them a time frame. And this is going to be all related back into our marketing material that I'm going to show you in a moment. So we'll get you 10 listing appointments within X amount of days, or you don't pay. So I did something like 90 days. So my whole program length was 3 whole months, right? So that was my special offer, pricing, and my regular offer. So we understand what we're doing, what we're charging for it, and actually, of course, like, why are we different? Why are we, very, very enticing to go with, okay? So those are the main key things. Now, what we need to understand next is, cool, we have all this down, but how do we actually get the clients? Because I see so many people online, and I'm just going to shoot it very straight. They worry about things that they're not in control of, okay? They're worried about client fulfillment when they have no clients, okay? Backwards thinking. I know it sounds like that's like you should always worry about your fulfillment before trying to sign someone and not knowing what to do when you sign them. It makes sense, okay? I understand it. But here's the issue with that. Your service will you'll never know if it's really good until you actually have multiple clients in the first place to actually test it on. Okay, you need data, and you're not going to get data by just trying to hypothetically study and just make sure your fulfillment's good. It doesn't happen that way. There was an analogy I said earlier today, which is like, I could study how to be an MMA fighter for 3 months and literally do 0 training at all, but after those 3 months, I'd get beat up by someone who just did 5 days worth of training and 0 studying. Okay, so that's the key point you got to understand here, and it's directly the same with this. Okay, so cool, we've got this down. how are we actually going to get clients? Okay, that is the big next question. That's kind of like the next step in this kind of order of operations. So how to get clients. Okay, I'll tell you guys exactly what I did. So number one is I needed to understand my method of booking appointments, okay? Because we need to book sales calls with the industry that we're going after. So for me, it was real estate agents. I needed to jump on sales calls with these realtors, okay? So for me, I said there's 3 different ways you can book appointments. Number 1 is outreach. Number 2 is paid ads, okay? And then number 3 is organic content. These are the 3 ways you can book appointments for your AI agency. Now, there's different kind of reasons to do each. Outreach is like manual DM messaging. So this is messaging people on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. It's like me sitting around for 4 hours a day and just hitting up a bunch of real estate agents, asking them if they're interested in a service like mine and making a cool script to make them want to say yes. Okay, that takes a lot of time. So you're going to pay in time with this one. Organic content's kind of the same way, all right? You're watching this video right now. This is organic content. YouTube has pushed this in front of you. I'm not paying YouTube to push this video. Okay, this is all organic. Organic content you can do really, really well. This is probably the most untapped thing I'm seeing today, especially hitting local businesses because they're on YouTube. Okay, a lot more people than you think, a lot more realtors, a lot more roofers are on YouTube than you think, but they're just not getting the content in front of them that actually should sell them. So that's where you need to come in place. All right, so it's making YouTube videos, making Instagram reels, whatever it is, around helping these businesses. Okay, so again, you can make an upload schedule for that, 1, 2, 3 videos a week, whatever you want to do, and it'll help you to get really, really good at speaking in front of camera, speaking in general. There's a lot of pros to it. Okay, this you'll pay with your time. Okay, there's no guarantee on how well your organic videos are going to do. There's no guarantee on if roofers are going to see your first 3 videos or not, or real estate agents, whatever niche you're going after. You're going to pay with time on this one as well. But there's this middle one, paid ads, which is you're going to put money in and you're going to ideally get money out. And this is a system that you can control. So if I spend $20 a day on Facebook and I book 2 sales calls, and let's say I have a 100% show rate and I close at 50%. So I close 1 person, all right? So I spent $100 and I close 1 person. So my cost per acquisition is $100. So if I spend $100 every single day on Facebook ads, I'm getting a client every single day. This is a very hypothetical scenario. That's not average whatsoever, okay? But I'm just kind of giving that as some context as in a scenario. So that is the route I went because I knew, okay, if I get Facebook $150, if I get $100 a day, whatever that number be, I'd say start with about $30 a day, then you can consistently book sales appointments onto your calendar and you can still in your free time of the day do these other 2. Okay, if you're sitting here and you're saying, Carson, I don't have money for this. I don't have money to run paid ads at $25, $30 a day starting. Very simple. You can do these too, but I've seen it be a lot faster for people to just go get a job, have that job, pay them money, they reinvest back into ads, into their business, and then they scale that way. I think it's a lot easier because paid ads, organic content and outreach, it's very mentally straining, okay? Doing a job can be mentally straining too, but it's very on autopilot. Here, you really have to be focused in because, at McDonald's, if you're working at McDonald's, you can be pretty off track a little bit and you can still make money, Here, you have to be fully dead on set. So I'd recommend getting a job, having money from the job that then goes into paid ads if you don't have money, and etc. I'm not going to keep venting on that point, but very simply, get a job, okay? There's nothing else I need to really talk about there, okay? So I went with paid ads. I knew paid ads is going to be the route I'm going to take. So what did I do next? I needed to make ads around my offer, okay? And I guess the big thing in the middle of this is I set up a lot of back-end systems and funnels, so I'm actually going to make this number 3. Number 2 was really a lot of GoHighLevel setup. So for those that don't know what GoHighLevel is, it's essentially a CRM that has everything you need inside of it. So I'll actually quickly go to GoHighLevel right now just so you know what I'm talking about and you can actually get a grasp for what I'm saying. All right, so I'm in my GoHighLevel sub account right now. GoHighLevel, like I just said, it's a very well-known CRM. It holds everything you need. So I think it's a pretty, relatively cheap monthly cost you'll pay for it. If you've never used it before, I have a 5-hour video on my channel that you can use for this. And everything I'm going to show you inside of here, we do give out to our mastermind members. So I do run like a private AI agency mastermind. This is the whole business model I'm talking about. I essentially help people do that in there. I'll have a link to that in the description, but that's not what this video is about. So if I go down to here on the sites, all the setup was kind of like needed. So this is like a funnel, for example, right? So there'd be a calendar right here, right below here. And once people booked a call, they would get shot right to a pre-call page. So this is what they look like. Okay. And again, I did this all live. So this is all, like documented, right? So these two things are like what I set up. I set up some automations around appointment reminders and just making sure actually people are going to show up to the call. So I'll kind of show this. So once people booked a call, wait 30 seconds. We'll put them in a pipeline, and then we'll give them a pre-call confirmation email. So this video right here on this page that people get sent to after booking a call just essentially has a quick video of me describing what the call is actually going to be used for, what these realtors need to have as expectations before the call, and just making sure they show up in a quiet environment. Very basic stuff. And then once that's done, I'd send out some SMS messages and just have like 24-hour reminders, and then I'd have 1-hour reminders and then 10-minute reminders. Okay, very basic stuff. And then, of course, the only thing I'm really not including here is the calendar. I had a calendar where people could book on, just like here, I deactivated it so no one could kind of book on my calendar, but just imagine a big calendar right here that these realtors could get booked in on. Now, this page right here is what we're sending traffic from these ads we're going to make to. Again, this is to get clients for ourselves. This is not to help realtors because we have no realtors that we're working with yet, or whatever clients you're wanting to work with. This is to actually get these real estate agents on a call, sales call with us so we can pitch our service. This is always step one. You got to get clients before you can fulfill. Okay. Now that's kind of the GoHighLevel setup, just to like spare you all the time and details. I'm not going to go into that. And then number 3, I'd make ads around my offer. So what I did here is I took a different approach to this, and I'll actually open up Facebook right now to show you some data. But I specifically made static ads. So these are just regular image ads around my offer. So literally what I showed right up here will get you 10 listing appointments in 90 days or you don't pay. And I just ran it as super basic static ads. I'll show you right now what I'm actually talking about. Okay, so right here, you can actually see an example of these are the ads I actually ran. Super, super basic. You can make these inside of just canva.com. I don't even think you have to pay for it. Super just basic text right here. I would test these 3 are the main I tested. So you can see right here, I had kind of like a black background just to split test colors, because colors do actually sometimes have a massive difference on the ads, the real performance of them. Now, if I go into the ads manager actually on Facebook, this is the results I got. So it was total. I set up this campaign for day 1. I spent about $78. I was spending, I think, at $100 to $150 a day total throughout these 5-ish days of me running ads total. Didn't get anything from it, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to switch this around, and then I just launched these ads that I just showed you right here, and then in the next 3-ish days, 4-ish days of me running it, I spent $598, and then I booked. It says 13 here. I think it was more like 11 or 12 total sales appointments, and that is like, we'll just say $50 per appointment. And from that, of course, I just took the sales calls from there. Okay, so that is the real main setup that I did to get this all done. Okay, so very simply, ran ads. I set up GoHighLevel to make sure people could book on my funnel, and I set this whole calendar and funnel up right here. So then we'll send traffic from these ads to this page right here. They'll be able to just self-book. I didn't have any opt-in page really, VSL page, none of that. I just had a straight calendar page that people could book into, and then they just get shot right to a pre-call page where I just give them some info. Okay, that was that. And once this is done, I would jump on a sales call with them and I'd actually walk them through a presentation. Now, I'll quickly show you my presentation I used really, really quick. Okay, so right here, as you can see, this is the presentation I used. This is, but I do not even want to say the standard of what your presentations should look like. I made this pretty much entire thing on like a 12-hour notice or something like that. Just because, again, I did this challenge and I was booking a lot of appointments as faster than I thought I would. So I needed to make something really, really quick. So number 1, I had this pillar 1 slide where I just have social media ads. I'd just be talking about these real estate agents, what they need to know about our service, what I'm going to do for them, etc. Number 2, done for you AI. So this is just talking about what the actual AI caller is that I'm setting up for them is going to do. I would also have an example here that I'd show them really, really fast. So I can even maybe just show you guys right here of like what it actually, sounds like.
Hey, Jackson.
Hello, who's this?
Hey, this is Jesse calling from Solar Sphere. How have you been?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Just reaching out to talk.
Okay, so that right there is an example of what it actually sounds like, and I would show them that. And of course, I just give them super, super simply like what I'm doing and the end result of it. I see a lot of people overcomplicating. They have 60 different slides they go through on a slide deck. Just make it simple, okay? These realtors, these roofers, these local business owners, they don't understand a lot of this stuff, and you got to understand that going into this. You got to make it just simple for them, okay? And the platform I'm using to actually set all this stuff up is called simflow.ai. You can look them up here. Looks like they just actually updated their website, but they do a bunch of stuff around just like AI voice sales and everything like that. You can look them up, as obviously they're, I think, the biggest in the space, and they do a great job, especially connecting to GoHighLevel and so on. Okay, so that's number 2. And the number 3, I would just say, hey, we have 24/7 support. We're gonna have one-on-one check-in calls with you bi-weekly, and you're gonna have access to all of our AI. End result, no more managing any AI, or you have more time on appointments is the whole goal, right? And then I would give them just this pricing slide. When I tell you this is the most vanilla presentation you've ever seen in your life, I mean it, okay? But guess what? It converted, okay? It converted on these sales calls because I came across as the expert and I didn't confuse them. A confused buyer does not buy. Please understand that. So that was the whole strategy I took towards this, and it worked, okay? Again, like I was able to close people from it, and that's really what matters at the end of the day. So this process right here is exactly how I was able to close these deals. Now, when it comes to fulfillment, I'm going to maybe make a separate video on that, and I have a 5-hour video on my channel literally talking about client fulfillment in there. But for the simplicity of this video, that is exactly A to Z what I was thinking in my head when I got these clients and how I did it, okay? So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully this has kind of opened your eyes a little bit onto what you can do with this business model. And for those that don't know, I do have and run a private AI agency mastermind, as I mentioned earlier in this video. That is the top link in the description. Essentially, inside the mastermind, you're going to get my one-on-one phone number. You're going to have access to all the other people in there that are running this business model too and making money with it. The GoHighLevel snapshot, like I mentioned, everything in here, like I was showing earlier, the automations, the funnels, everything I give to you, and you just have access to my brain with essentially daily group calls on this stuff. So I'll have a link in the description for that, where you can actually just book a complimentary game plan call. It'll either be with me or my business partner, just depending on the time you book. As obviously, times change. I'm busy here or there, but we should have some times on the calendar where you can actually book in there, and we'll just kind of give you a rundown of everything that's inside, see if you're fit, and then we'll kind of give you the green light if so. So that's really it inside of this video. So guys, I hope that made sense, and I hope you found some value from this video. And like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys inside the next video. More value is coming, and yeah guys, bye bye.